We got about 700 glow sticks here, so we are gonna cut these open, get as much glow stick juice as we can out of this, and then to be safe, and also because I made a little mistake, we are going to use something else as well. So I will get into that, but I'll do it while I crack these open. See you in the next segment. So I have my glow sticks now here. I really should have thought about how badly I hate 52 card pickup before I did that. So that was fun. Let's get, oh, I gotta show you what I'm putting this in too, by the way, hang on. Just picture this, 8.47 inches in diameter by 14 inches in length. Oh, sorry, 8.43 inches, 14 inches long. That gives us about 433 ounces of volume to fill, all right? So it's quite a lot. Now, here's the deal. First thing, check out the size of this. This is huge. This is my vision for a very large glow stick. Now, there's bigger ones, right? We've got some world records out there, but really not well documented, really nothing that you can see. So I wanted to get some good visuals. Here's the crazy thing. So this says that it's gonna need around, let's see, 675 glow sticks, all right? So I wanted to be able to cover this up, close it up when we're done so I can, use it as a night light, right? Light up the neighborhood or something. Let's see how bright it gets. I also want to check the temperatures. In my interview with Janae, talked about something potentially going critical. This is what I was talking about. Now, when you're dealing with glow sticks, there's a few things that you have to think about. Number one is you're creating a chemical reaction, right? So you have to be careful. I have some rubber gloves I'll be using. Little splashes and stuff I'm not worried about. It is non-toxic. I will be washing my hands, washing afterwards to make sure that I'm all clean, but it is safe to, stay safe when you're dealing with chemicals. My main point is when you're creating a chemical reaction like this, you're creating something that would be an exothermic reaction, right? Typically, you're creating some kind of heat from a reaction like this. So in my research, this could either get up to like 200 degrees Fahrenheit, or it could be the exact same as a regular glow stick. So I've got this temperature reader. We're going to use that and see how warm this gets. I do have a safe place to put this if it does start to get warm, and dispose of this. I don't think it'll get critical, however. I think that there's a couple things that we're gonna be able to do that will make it so that that's not an issue, right? That heat is not our issue. That being said, I thought I made one mistake when this arrived yesterday, that I bought these the wrong size, these caps, which I did, right? You can see that there, they're the wrong diameter. But that was a good thing in my mind, because then I could stretch it over. It's gonna be really tight fit, stuff like that. Here's the issue. They're super difficult to get on. So I've got to work around that for this project. Oh, the other problem was just I had to do it, but I didn't do it on camera, so you don't have to see me struggle with it. My second mistake was that I miscalculated the volume initially to about less than half of what I needed. So I ended up having to buy a few extra glow sticks. We started out with about 400. We're now at about 700. And I had to do some research into figuring out some kind of filler fluid, right? Because we've got a lot of glow sticks here. I don't want this to get unsafe, right? So to eliminate some of that concern, and also due to, cost prohibitive nature of something like this, I ended up looking up what would work very best as like a filler, something that wouldn't mess with the reaction too much, as long as I had a good ratio. And then also something that, would be clear, something that, isn't gonna mess with the visuals. I actually found out that mineral oil, basically baby oil, is the right choice. So if we mix this at the correct time with the correct fluid in there with the correct chemical, then we can get this to be kind of an additive. It'll help us fill up the rest of our glow stick, and it will also make it so it tames down that reaction and cools it down for us, so there's not gonna be so much danger involved here in my home. All right, let's get started. All right, here's a quick explanation of how we're gonna do this. I just need to pop a hole in here. We're gonna crack the stick, and then also when we do that, and then we're also going to open up a hole in the top to just kind of release that vacuum, the vacuum that's in there, holding it in. So do that real quick, and then I have the other glow sticks. I'll show you how I'm gonna do those ones. But right now I'm just tossing that in the hole that's in the bottom there. keeping everything safe. With these ones, it doesn't really splash at all, so that's kind of nice. And then I just kind of either slam this down. Usually this will pop directly into the bottom of the glass vial and it will start to combine those chemicals. However, sometimes I do miss. So I gotta bring it back up. Jeez, this is a struggle. It's always a struggle when I'm trying to explain, but then I just rip through it when I'm doing a bunch of them. Okay, so we've got that busted. We got these scissors here. Just gonna tip that over there, and then, like I said, release the vacuum. And that's gonna drain right out, and then it will drain that other chemical out of the vial. Mixing it all in the process pretty well. And then we've got one glow stick captured, ready for combination of more. So now on these ones, I've got this little dimple in the top. You can see that. It's pretty easy to pop that, or to just rest the drill bit right there. Goes directly in. For this one, I'm gonna shut off the lights though, so that you can kind of see it in the dark. It's cooler. So I've just cracked the bottom right now, so it's not mixing very much. We need everything to mix together, right? So as I pour this over, I'm gonna release again that, the suction that has. It'll drain out the first fluid, and then it should drain out that secondary one. Good to go. Now for this part, I wanna do something kind of cool. I wanna do a little bit of like artwork here. So let's see if we can do something cool.
Reload the brush to a nice sharp chisel edge. Go through the same procedure. Let's have another one. Maybe he lives right there. Just make a decision and drop him in. Wherever you want him. There you go.
Let's see what this looks like. Nice. Glow stick tie-dye. Talked about wanting a different camera angle. Let me show you what I meant. This is for the Insta360 X5, and I would like to put it inside of a glow stick. I want to see what the world looks like from inside a glow stick. So we're gonna do it. I don't know if this case is gonna survive, but the camera should. I'm gonna make a mount for this. There we go. And that, I mean, our weight is going to push it down. The fluid in there is gonna push it down a little bit, but it's gonna keep it way more stable. I think we'll get a really good view. Let's do this thing. I'm excited.
One eternity later.
It's around 6 in the morning at this point. Poorly misjudged the time this would take. I'm curious about temperature real quick. 87.4 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the same as 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 86. So it's a little warmer, but it's not going critical. It's not gonna blow up. While I finished up the last of these, I am going to see if I can remember why I did it this way. In all honesty, I really did want to do it in this manner instead of just buying the chemicals, because you don't want to watch a video on somebody who just pours 2 chemicals together and says, cool, look, it glows, right? So I thought there was a little bit more intrigue and story with this. I thought it was more entertaining and fun. But also, when I've thought about this over the years of like, hey, I wonder how you would make a giant glow stick, I thought about doing it this way. This is the way I had in my head. And plans that you make are not always the most efficient, right? Maybe you need to change it up. Maybe you do something a little bit different from what you anticipated. However, I also think that there's something to be said for doing something the way that makes sense for you. The story makes sense for me this way because I'm seeing essentially something grow, right? You're combining all these little things to make something really big. And I think that that is important. I think that there is a lot of power when small things come together. They can do great things and defeat great things, right? So I like that storyline better. All of these glow sticks are working hard to create this luminosity together in one big bowl. All right, we've got our scuba diver going there, but I wanna get this blended out. I'm gonna turn off the lights and see how this glows. Our experiment's obviously still going. I'm gonna keep that time lapse on there until it stops. We'll see how long that goes. I also wanted to do one other experiment while I was doing this. So I did get these other colors, part of it for decoration, but part of it was because I had this thought when I was exploring this, experiment. When you're mixing colors like colored pencils, if you mix too many colors together, it's gonna make brown, right? It's just get too dark, right? But if you mix just 2 colors, 3 colors, you can get some pretty cool stuff, right? With light, that actually is different, right? You mix all the colors, right? Prism idea, you'll get white light, right? So this is emitting light in color. It's kind of doing both things. So which is it gonna do? There's the question. Is it going to get muddy brown? All the colors will mix together and it just will kind of be gross? Or will it make like a white light? Will all the lights combine? Basically, I wanna see which one. And I have my guess. I think I know what it's gonna do, but let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Pause it and go down there. We'll see if you're right. The other thing I wanna do with this is mix a couple of colors together just individually, right? So I've got these jars here. So the other thing with these is the colors I was predicting when it came to what was actually gonna show here is different from what I thought. When we were organizing it, it was hard to find out, which one of these is red, which one is pink. And it turns out I was wrong on both of them. Obviously, we've got an orange here. Okay, what are you gonna guess? I thought that this one was pink. I was wrong. What do you think it's gonna be? Did you guess pink or purple? Because I'm pretty sure that that's purple, right? I don't know. Let's keep going. You can see when we mix a couple of these together. I'll go ahead and empty a few. Let's see. What do we think? let's try, I've been thinking about mixing these two to see if it makes like a teal color maybe. Let's go for like a purple first. And then at the end, I'm gonna mix the rest of what I have left over and see what it does. All right, let's mix this around. Interesting, so does that kind of line up with that, maybe? Which again, it would make sense. So I was just curious to see if it was something completely different or if it would do that. So, all right, let's try for this like teal color. I gotta see what happens here. So more of just like a vibrant green maybe. This has that blue in it. I wonder what happens if I do this. Yeah, more of like a lime green. All right, let's see this. Kind of like a peach color over here that made, like the purple and the teal together. I think it's gonna be just glowy brown water at the end. Let's try like a burnt orange. We'll do like a dark orange color. Yeah, like a blood orange color. Oh, that would be a great mix for like Halloween. I keep pulling out the UV light because it's kind of interesting how it bounces off and stuff. So I'm just kind of testing it as we go. I honestly was expecting brown before now, so I'm not sure what to do with myself there. Okay, what other colors would be fun to mix? Let's do like a yellow and green. I bet that'd be crazy. Like a zombie, even more of like a zombie green than that already is. Oh no, just Mountain Dew. I'm not actually sure what to do with myself here with the color that this is becoming. Someone's gonna have to explain to me, someone who's smarter than me, in the comments, explain to me what's gonna happen when all these are combined and why. Should we just mix the rest of them together? I don't know that the rest of these would be that fun to mix except for together, all of them. This is wild. I really thought that it was gonna be like just brown, which I guess, again, kind of makes sense. You're scientifically, you're in between, you know, what you'd be doing with crayons and what you'd be doing with light bulbs, somewhere in the middle. Because you're, well, I guess you're doing it with chemicals instead. I don't know, you tell me, why is that orange instead of like brown? I'm guessing because it's basically brown but with light in it. I'm gonna put it next to this other time lapse and I wanna see what ends up happening to that as well. I will probably end up putting it in one of these jars though so I can put a lid on it. And I will let you know what happens. Okay, so I think we have a couple of really key takeaways from this project. First of all, the fluid that is inside of glow sticks, where it is not necessarily toxic in the ones that I was using at least, but it is still quite caustic, right? You've got this fluid eating through the acrylic and it just disintegrated this thing. It's crazy. It just started to eat away at it. Obviously we did switch to the jar at that point and we were able to save all this stuff from spilling all over the floor. But I even tried to tape this up. This is Flex Seal tape and it didn't cut it. So, and it was also gonna block too much of it. Got rid of that situation, switched to the jar. This was awesome. I had a lot of fun with this. Again, another takeaway here would be, if I were to do this again, I would probably wanna go for the world record. Something that's maybe down the road if we do something like that, but I would want to make a much larger one and not necessarily have so much mineral oil. I would wanna make it more consistently the actual glow stick material and not so much filler. But this was a lot of fun. It glowed really well. It lasted a long time. My editors will put the number here. It isn't an exact number, right? Because there's a certain point where it's technically glowing, but it's not really worth speaking about at that point. So we'll just put up there what we feel like is worth actually, the number that's worth recording. I also had a lot of fun with this one. This was just mixing the different colors of glow sticks. And that reacted differently than I expected, but I did really enjoy that. I thought that was a lot of fun. So I'd maybe like to do another experiment on that in the future. But for now, this was just a blast to be able to, you know, mix those and see how those colors interacted with each other. And then last thing I wanted to go over before I let you go today is we've got some requests to do some of the other projects that Grant has done in the past. So I've got my King of Random 52 weekend projects here, and a specific request was the Assassin's Crossbow, which we have here. And, you know, that's one of the more simple ones, but I thought a few ideas could be, you know, obviously I do want to go through some of these and, you know, recreate some of those projects, adding our own flair. But I also thought about maybe having you guys select which ones, or help us select which ones we do that with. So maybe we throw up a questionnaire or something, give you some options, and you can let us know what you'd like to see. So I'll work with the team on that. And if you have any ideas specifically, especially if you have this book, if you've purchased it in the past and there's a project you want to see, let us know and I will do my best to make that happen. Let us know if you added your own flair. I'd love to see it. So make sure you check out next week's video. We're gonna be doing something pretty fun. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, and check out that video down there. Somewhere down there. YouTube thinks you'll like that one. All right, now all lights are off. These are those jars. Here's my bucket. Then here's the tie-dye paper towel. That's so cool. Someone please do something with this and tag me.